Welcome to Cattle Connect, your insight into Alabama's beef cattle industry. I'm your host, Kayla Greer, and this is Cattle Connect, brought to you by the Alabama Cattlemen's Association. Welcome back to the Cattle Connect podcast. This week has been particularly exciting in downtown Montgomery because it's State FFA Convention Week. Blue Jackets have stormed the streets of downtown, and we have had the pleasure of hosting many groups in the museum. We even hosted the Alabama FFA Foundation Wall of Honor Luncheon. I got to judge a state career development contest. Reed McGuire on our staff has been at the career show all week. There has just been so much going around that 97th annual event here in Montgomery. And to tease next week's podcast, I would encourage you to come back to hear from one of the students who grew up in FFA and AJCA and hear about the happenings from the week, all from her unique perspective. Joining me today, however, is a man who is not only an agri-science teacher and FFA advisor, but a local leader who works tirelessly to promote the Cattlemen's Association in his home county. We've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. As a grassroots organization, our lifeblood is in the leaders and members who engage locally to promote the association and the beef business in Alabama. Lots of individuals and chapters as a whole get really creative in their promotional efforts, even if that means taking to airwaves and social media timelines. Today, I've got Caleb Beeson from Franklin County Cattlemen's Association here to highlight some of the big projects happening in the northwest corner of the state. Caleb, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Before we get into the weeds, Caleb, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, your operation, your involvement in Franklin County, all of it. Let our listeners get to know you a little bit.
Well, I live just in the eastern edge of Franklin County there, and right on the Franklin-Lawrence County line, just east of Russellville there. And we have our beef cattle operation we call Star Beef Cattle, and as well as our work on Hovider Farms, an operation I've worked on since I was a kid. And both of those commercial cow-calf operations that we implement good stewardship practices, and we're proud that to be a family operation. My wife, Emily, is also a veterinarian, and she plays a crucial role in those operations and keeps me in line from the animal health standpoint there, and I appreciate her much support and that she gives that. And then our two kids, Liza, who is 8, and then Everett, who is 4. Both of those are the joy of our lives, and they love the farm life and the horses, the cows, and everything that's part of it.
And you involve them heavily on the farm. I see pictures of them all the time working there beside y'all.
We sure do. We just finished our last herd of our spring work, and Eliza's our note keeper, and she's been doing that. And Everett, he loves a flag like most kids, and he's keeping them punched up. And when it's that, and to fence or parrot to whatever they may be, try to make it fun so that they want to be involved, and hopefully for the rest of their lives that they'll carry that operation on and for multiple generations.
Yeah, and Caleb, tell us a little bit about your involvement in the Franklin County Cattlemen's chapter.
Well, I was for a long time, I guess I still am, the youngest board of director member, I guess ever. And from a young age, I've just had mentors in my life that instilled the purpose to be involved. One of my dear friends and a mentor, Stephen Smith, who there in Franklin County Cattlemen, he told me from a young age there of my involvement, he said, it doesn't matter if it's cattlemen, if it's church attendance, whatever it is. He said, I always want to be more than a card-carrying member. And that advice that Stephen gave me stuck with me. And I love people. I love serving in my community. And I think that goes back to a biblical foundation that we're supposed to do, right? And so with that being said, I've been a member a long time, and then came on as a board member in 2016, and then was nominated to serve as vice president of our chapter, and then served as county president in 2019 and 2020. And that was an experience in itself. As I said, we all set that goal of going over the top, and being COVID year of that 2020. And proud to say, with the help of board members and all other members and officers, that we did go over the top that year. So I'm proud to say that I did get that red coat, and I give everyone credit that made that possible. But served in that role. I rolled back in. I'm back as vice president, and then we really do have a thriving county, and I'm proud to report that as of today, we've got 431 members.
Wow. Lots going on in Franklin County in the northwest corner of the state. Caleb, y'all do such a good job. And October Beef Month is truly a time that the Franklin County Cattlemen's Association their chapters shines. As we prepare for October 2025 and the 61st year of Beef Month in Alabama, tell us about some of the unique programs that y'all do in your county. Maybe it'll inspire some other ideas in other counties.
Well, we've done a lot of things that were staples in our county, and probably a lot that other counties do as well. And it was last year when a board member, Philip Hamilton, and also our president, Michael Pounders, they had gotten together and they said, hey, we've got this challenge to win October Beef Month County of the winter.
Cattlemen of Beef Month, yeah.
Thank you. So he said, hey, we can do this. And so some of those long-time activities, we've donated 100 pounds of beef to the family and consumer science teachers within the county so that they can use that beef in their culinary programs to promote that.
That's probably the most uniquely Franklin County program as an October Beef Month celebration. I look forward to that picture and that cut line from the Franklin County Times every single year. That is like y'all's star program.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and it is something that goes back to probably Orland Britnell or Thomas Harvin or some of those guys that got that started. And it's a simple project, but it's one that they appreciate in that. And we know, even though we're cattlemen and beef producers, but we know the cost of beef and that. And as an educator myself, those teachers appreciate to kind of alleviate some of that cost in that. So we do that, and then the typical cowboys in the classroom and some of those others as well. Last year, it was the idea to really highlight some of those meat markets within our county. And so give credit to Michael Pounders, our president. And so he went, and if I remember correctly, there are 6 butchers within the county and meat departments and various grocery stores there. And he did an interview with them and highlighted that. And it was very well received. And it really helped to connect the dots as cattle producers to our consumers and kind of break down that barrier to say, hey, it's okay to go ask them questions. Don't feel intimidated if you're unsure about what cut to purchase, how to cook it, and things like that. And so it was really a home run by doing that.
So, Caleb, like you said, y'all began this video series in October of last year, and the videos are what I really want to highlight on today's episode because I think that's one of those great ideas that can translate to all 67 counties all over the state as ways to promote beef in your local county. So, as I've been reminded this week multiple times by the young crop of young agriculturalists who are in town with us, video production does seem to be the future of social media. And we know that because we all are guilty of sitting there and scrolling on reels, watching videos when we see something that catches our eye. We will stop for that type of content. So talk to us a little bit more about the inspiration for starting that video series in the county. I know you said that you wanted to connect consumers, but maybe what was the conversation that led y'all to saying, hey, let's do this? Because it is kind of an intimidating task.
It definitely is. And as I mentioned, it started way back in October Beef Month of Michael interviewing butchers at the meat markets there. And it was a way for people to conveniently learn that information there, connect the dots with who that person is. And then, as we all are very busy, to listen to it while they're going down the road. And take in that information and then also provide them some comfort that they can go to that and kind of break down that barrier of intimidation. For us as the Cattlemen's Association, to tell that pasture-to-plate story, us as beef cattle producers, we want people to know what that end product is. We want it to be very authentic in our story, and for those consumers to connect that dot. And we felt like it was a great way to tell that story.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. You guys did a great job with it. And like you said, Michael kind of started the project, and you've kind of carried the torch on. And so with that being said, you've interviewed local cattlemen. Michael's done the local butchers and meat department employees. You've done farmers in the county, but you've also interviewed a variety of other people within the community. Talk to us about that. What inspired those conversations, and how are you able to tie it back to the Franklin County Cattlemen's chapter?
Yeah, so we took a little bit of a dry spell in the late fall and early winter, and then really started back up. And you were there at our annual meeting. And so at our annual meeting, we have the change of the guard of officers and those. And even if we do have some returning officers, just a way to introduce those officers and make sure that our membership, maybe that's a longtime member, maybe it's a new member, knows who those officers are and to know their story. And it just started with that. It was Michael himself introduced introducing him. I introduced him. He told his story. Our new vice president, Mark Hill, and then the inspiration was just, hey, let's keep this ball rolling. At convention, pulled Aaron aside, and even very, very fortunate CEO of NCBA, Colin Woodall.
Yeah.
And then some of those folks there. And then I wanted to bring it even locally to dear friend, Representative Jamie Kuehl, here in Montgomery, Commissioner of Ag, Rick Pate. But then even some of those that were viewed the most was some of our local cattlemen.
Right.
It just to yearn and learn some of that wisdom from some of those guys that's been through the trenches for many, many years. Again, show that true authenticity. We all have our struggles. We all face hardships, whether we're weather challenges or financial challenges, mental health. Just the busyness of life there, and I've had a lot of positive feedback just to know that, hey, it's pretty neat to know that we're all in this together, though.
That's right. Yeah, those videos are, especially when you can take somebody who has been in this industry for so long and is so knowledgeable. There are just so many, if you could just break them up into little sound bites, there are so many good little nuggets of information there. Really enjoyed some of those videos, especially the one of Mr. Jack Hargett, who we recently elected as a lifetime director of the Alabama Cattlemen's Association. So good to see him featured on there. But somebody else that you talked to recently, Caleb, was somebody with City Council, right? Is that right? County Commission, City Council?
Yes, I did. Miss Cassie Medley, she is the executive director of our Franklin County Chamber of Commerce, and goes back to the very beginning of this podcast and our conversation was just being a vital role within our community. Are we giving back? It's easy to complain. It's easy to kind of question what's going on, but are we willing to roll up our sleeves and be involved within our community? Yeah. And, to get her on board and talk about from festivals to the different roles of, that they play in promoting our town, promoting our county, and that. And that's what it takes is those people, those community members that live there. Most of us all volunteer in those roles and to improve our community so that they will thrive for the next generation.
Yeah, and y'all did a great job, too, of tying back some of those festivals that she talked about, like the Watermelon Festival, that you guys are there at that with a steak sandwich. So great tie back there to not only promote the festival and promote what the Chamber of Commerce is doing and all the work that they put into the community, but also that y'all are there and kind of a call to action to come out and see the festivities and get a steak sandwich while you're there. So
yeah, appreciate you saying that. Those steak sandwiches are a huge success. We just, now that the school year just ended, we just awarded 24 scholarships.
Wow.
For this year. They're valued at $500 a piece. And so our policy is that we award a minimum of 2 scholarships within the 6 high schools in Franklin County. And then there's more applications are received and they're more awarded in that. But that, active role that we play within the community. And it's the community that is supporting that by purchasing those sandwiches there. And it takes a lot of people to put those sales on, a lot of hard work and the time, early and late hours and early in the morning, late in the evening, those long hours of setting up and tearing down and that. But it is really, really is gratifying. And you mentioned Jack and his wife, Bonnie, that's played such a vital role in that, and so many others that just are those unsung heroes that don't necessarily get recognized, but I definitely want to brag on them and show appreciation for them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like you said, it's all hands on deck when it comes to a steak sandwich sale, and I think it's important for people to know that that's not just a fundraiser to support the chapter. It really, usually 9 times out of 10, when a county cattlemen's association in any part of the state does a steak sandwich sale, it is usually to help fund scholarships for local students within that county. That's at least what I've found over the years, and looking at social media posts, and then go into these county meetings and watching these scholarships be awarded, and it's usually recognized during the presentation that these were funded through the sale of steak sandwiches in the county. And Franklin County is really just a paramount example of how that can be successful.
Your membership matters. Join the ACA today and tap into our exclusive member benefits, including a subscription to the Alabama Cattleman magazine. Learn more and sign up today at bamabeef.org/join.
All right, we've been talking about last October, Caleb. Now, I want you to think about October 2025 a little bit. Do tell. I know that y'all are planning maybe plotting already for the title of Cattleman of Beef Month. Got any teasers of what we can expect to see out of Franklin County this year?
We are competitive people, and last year, as we got second place, and Michael Pounders, as I already mentioned, he was also received some recognition for that at this year's convention, and so we definitely want to keep that momentum going, keep that fire there. Want to continue our videos as we've already discussed, and then one thing that was very, very unique last year was a local young lady, Miss Madeline Cooper. She had wrote just a short little kid's book, and we had collaborated with her and with her with an opportunity to reach a different audience that we haven't before, and it was the kids and the youth there. And so whether we do another book or something along that line, we really learned the importance of branching out and collaborating with others that we haven't in the past. So we're definitely going to capitalize on that and keep that momentum going.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Like I said, you guys do such a great job, especially in October Beef Month, but really throughout the year. And County Cattlemen's associations across Alabama are doing these fun projects. I think it's important for people to hear about the unique programs that are happening in counties across the state, because a lot of the time it's easy to think that, we just show up for a steak dinner once a year, and maybe if I'm on the board, I show up for a quarterly board meeting, and that's what it means to be a member of the Cattlemen's Association. And it is so much more. You're pouring into scholarships, you're pouring into steak sandwich sales, you're engaging in the community in different ways. It's so with the mission of promoting beef business in the state of Alabama. And Franklin County is so good at what they do, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing all those activities come to life as we head into the fall months. And Caleb, I think that we are wrapping up on time here in studio. Thank you so much for hopping away from all your FFA activities for a few minutes to come chat about all the work that's being done in Franklin County. And y'all really do a phenomenal job.
Well, I sincerely appreciate that. And as I already mentioned how many members that we have, I do have to really just give credit to all the ones that's worked toward that. And just to say that our goal is so far we've been 9 years as the largest county chapter in the state. And our goal, and so far we're going to reach that in this year of 2025, is to be 10 years in a row being that largest county chapter. And it's not something that we take lightly. We really, really work hard in that. And some of our local county benefits, to even the state benefits that are offered there. But most importantly, not just the benefits, but to let the members know that, hey, we're here volunteering to protect the industry that we love, to protect those private property rights and that lifestyle that hopefully that our kids and grandkids can take part in, again, for many, many generations to come.
Yeah, just a true example of a grassroots organization and those grassroots activating on the local level.
As we close here, I just want to give a little bit of word of inspiration. Myself being a first-generation producer, I didn't have, that farm that I inherited. I've already mentioned that those mentors that played a crucial role in my life that pulled me under their wing and provided that opportunity to plant that seed to me, that interest in agriculture and the cattle business as I got older and I grew more passionate about. And no matter the size of your operation, no matter quantity whatsoever, never underestimate the quality and for someone's ability to contribute, even if you don't own any cattle at all. We all play a crucial role in the industry, and it's up to us just to lock arms together and to keep fighting to protect our industry.
Yeah, we always say whether you own cattle, you own land, you eat beef, or you just are passionate about the industry because of familial relations or whatever it may be, we need you in the Cattlemen's Association because we all share a common passion, a common mission, whatever it may be. That's a perfect way to close this out, Caleb. I appreciate you saying that. And again, just such a great example of grassroots. Before I let everyone go, I do want to remind everyone about our upcoming Regional Cattlemen's Cookouts. You can fellowship with producers like Caleb, enjoy an awesome meal, partake in extension educational workshops on the same day. North Alabama, we're coming for you first next Thursday, June 12th at the Blount County Multipurpose Center. We'll also have one in Demopolis on June 26th. We'll be in Wetumpka on July 17th, and we'll wrap things up in Atmore on August 8th. I encourage you to all hop online to our events calendar and give us a call to sign up today. This is a free event for all current members, 2025 members, and we hope to see you there. And I personally look forward to sharing some more county stories from across the state as we head through the second half of 2025. Looking forward to not only highlighting other new and unique programs, but just continuing to tell the local Cattlemen's Association story. So thank you again, Caleb, for being first up to bat at this role and bragging on your home county of Franklin County.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. And there's truly strength in numbers, and we'll continue working together.
And with that, I'll say come back next week for more Cattle Connect podcast. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Cattle Connect, brought to you by the Alabama Cattlemen's Association. Be sure to subscribe to get notified when our next episode goes live. And until next time, remember, beef, it's what's for dinner.